Okay, I wanted to show you where I ended up on Coffee Quaker before I put it away. So obviously this is what I've been working on since the end of Stitch Mania, after I finished that patriotic piece for the exchange. So I did manage to finish my espresso bean motif down here at the bottom. I love how that turned out. And then I've started on this little the little fruit basket here. So as soon as I get this done, then I can do this last little corner here and the last couple of motifs up here. But I'm very happy with how that's coming out. And then of course yesterday was June 10th. So it was the beginning of the Salem Not Forgotten stitch along, and I am stitching Salem Remembered. It was important to me to get Bridget Bishop's name on there last night because yesterday marked the anniversary of the day that she was hanged. She was the first of them during the witch trials. So I managed to get her on there. I did do a few different things with my threads. I'm still sort of playing with those. So I started out up here using moss and stitched all of that. And then I decided that instead of doing moss for all of the names, I would do them in chestnut. And then I had started filling in the green with the green that I had pulled the fern frond, and it was just too light. So I swapped it out for the Tuscan olive that's in my Blackened Sky. I'm contemplating swapping out that star as well. I started it in the Autumn Gold and then decided I didn't like that, so I ripped it out and stitched it in the Antique Gold Dark, but I don't know that I like that either, so that may be coming out. So right now I'm thinking I may continue to do the border in moss and the little motifs on the sides in moss and do the names in chestnut, but we'll see how that goes. So that's my progress. Hey guys, it is Sunday, June 11th, and I thought I would share a little something different with you. So in our office, aka the map room, I have this bookshelf that holds all of my stitching stuff, other than works in progress, obviously. So on this top shelf I have my I have 4 photo boxes that have all of my threads, my overdyes and my silks. In the box marked miscellaneous that has like my overflow DMC, metallics and pearl cottons, and then some wools. This right here is a fabric covered piece of cardboard that slides over my boxes that have my DMC on bobbins. This shelf has all of my books, quilting, knitting, stitching, so like all of these are Blackbird Designs books, my Tula Pink books. And then this has my magazines and magazine holders. And then the bottom 2 shelves are all of my charts. So that's everything on my bookshelf. And then on top of my bookshelf, I have some of my little pieces that I've stitched. And then over the weekend, Eric put in this shelf for me so that I could put some of my other things out. So I wanted to show you my shelf. which I'm super happy with. So you can see some of my little pin cushions. Some I've made, some friends have made. You can see Frida, my zombie skeleton that my friend Kim made for me. Hairpins, wool strawberry, some beautiful wool pears that a friend made me, a velvet strawberry. There you go. So I'm super happy now that I can display some of my little things. So I just thought I would take a minute and share that with you guys. Hey guys, it is Monday, June 12th, and today is my dad's birthday. So I thought I would start by showing you the memorial sampler that I stitched for him. I don't know, I know I've shown it finished, but I don't know that I've ever shown it framed. And please keep in mind that this is my own framing job, so it probably needs a professional mat. But anyway, all of the caveats aside, so this is a reproduction sampler. It is a sampler that was originally stitched by a young boy named John Reed, and it was stitched in 1844. So the reason that I chose to stitch this for my dad's memorial sampler is because my dad's name was John Reed, and he was born in 1944. So it just seemed too perfect. So I stitched this in mostly the called for Swan silks. I had two places that I chose something else. The color for the house, it actually called for, I think it's Gentle Arts Adobe, and I wanted it to be all silks, not, you know, a whole bunch of Swan silks and then a cotton thrown in there. So I replaced that with a Gloriana, I think. And then the other place where I did a substitution was in the roof color. The Swan color that it called for is now kind of a seafoamy green color, which is not what I wanted. So I had to come up with a replacement color for that. But it's a very sweet little sampler. And of course, you know, I put my dad's name there, 1944, and then I put where he was born. So I just love this sampler. I stitched it on 40 count Weeks Confederate Gray, and I just love the bee skeps and those bees. It's just a very sweet sampler, and it was very cathartic for me to stitch that. So I actually started it, so my dad died in February of 2012, and I actually started this on his birthday, June 12th, 2012, and then I think I finished it about a year later. I may have gone into July or August, but anyway, so I just thought I would share that with you. And it's hanging here in my hallway with my grandfather's Masonic sword. So anyway, there you go. So I'm going to change rooms and then I will show you what I'm working on. Okay, so as you know, I've been working on Primitive Needle, Salem Remembered for the Salem Not Forgotten Sal. And this is where I got in the 2 nights. So it started on the 10th, so I stitched on this the 10th and the 11th. And this is how far I got. I've been making some adjustments as I go, and what I ended up doing is I did use the Swan moss for the border and for this little motif, and I think I'm going to continue that. So all the little motifs down the sides will be moss, and then I did the names in, I think it's Swan Chestnut, and I'm liking how that's turning out. So I'm happy with that. I think I told you I did swap out the that background of the star. I had started it in that fern frond, and it was just too light. So I have swapped it out with the Tuscan olive that it calls for, the silken colors. And the star, I originally had intended to stitch in that very dark autumny gold color, which I did, and then I didn't like it, so I ripped that out and I restitched it in Red Fox. I did do the little square in the center there in that autumn gold, but I'm not sold on that either, so that may come back out too. But otherwise, I'm happy with my color choices now. So I got Sarah Good's name stitched last night. Got some more stitched of that background of the star, got the star stitched, and finished up the little angel trumpeter there too. So that's what I've been working on over the weekend. And so tonight I'm actually starting something new with Emily from Eclectic Possessions. We have been talking about starting another reproduction sampler that's been on my to-do list for a while, and it is Dutch Beauty. So this is a huge sampler, but part of the reason that I love it so much is because of the swan and her little swan babies down at the bottom. Obviously, being called Dutch Beauty, this is a sampler, a Dutch sampler from 1790. So the thing that I have always not loved about this sampler is that it's got all these weird sort of beigey tan kind of colors in here that to me is a little overwhelming, because the swan's that color, these big flowers and these flower pots are that color, the rabbits are that color, the deer is that color, some of these other animals up here are the same color. Yuck. And this picture is not a super accurate color representation. It is much prettier when you see it stitched up. The colors are a little more vibrant, but that beige colored swan has always bothered me. So I went online looking for, you know, photos of people that had finished this, and it's few and far between, folks. But I did see someone that had stitched it and made the swan white, which I really loved. But then I got to thinking, and then I got to obsessing, and I decided that instead of stitching a very sort of springtime in Holland sampler that I was going to stitch it dark. So that's what I'm doing. So after looking around and looking around and looking around at fabric, I was afraid to spend $60 to order a piece of fabric because I need a fat half, a stitcher's half, for 40 count. I did not want to spend $60 on a piece of fabric that may or may not be the color that I really want. And when I got to looking at Picture This Plus, you know, it's like I'm looking at Shale and Echo and Dapple and, you know, on and on and on. It's like, is this too light? Is this too dark? Is this too green? Is this too purple? So I decided I would just dye my own. So I have actually I've dyed a few test pieces, and we're gonna see how it goes before I commit to my larger piece. So may I present Dark Beauty. So these are the threads that I've pulled. These are way more threads than what is actually called for in the pattern, but this will give me some options to pick and choose from. So, but this is basically my color palette. And I'm thrilled with this. I'm so excited about it. I really am. And I think it's going to be beautiful. And I think it's going to be so unique and different. And I can't hardly wait. So, but to answer the question about the swan, my swan is actually going to be a black swan. So I will be stitching the swan in black. The outline of the feathers I'm going to do in kind of a charcoaly gray, and then black swans have red beaks and red eyes. So I will be doing that for mine. So I'm going to actually start with the swan because to me that's really the focal point of the whole piece, and I want to make sure that that my colors are going to work on my fabric color before I get too terribly involved. So super excited. Emily and I are both excited to be stitching on this together. This is going to be a very lengthy labor of love, but I'm really excited about it. So here we go. Hey guys, it is Thursday, and I think it's June 15th. I just got home. It's about 9 o'clock. Eric is out, but I suspect that now that I've started recording, he will probably call me here any moment to say he's on his way home. So I thought I would just do a quick video. It is like 95, 96 degrees outside at 9 o'clock at night, and I have no AC in my car, so yeah, a little warm. So when I got home, the first thing I did was take like a cool shower. I put my hair up, changed my clothes, so now I'm feeling a little cooler. But not super cool. So, oh, and you have to see my, I don't know if you can see it, it's just gonna look like a big light blur. So Eric bought me one of those Himalayan salt lamps I've been wanting forever and ever. So I have that on. It looks a little like, you know, in Pulp Fiction when they open the suitcase, the briefcase, and you just see that glow. That's what that reminds me of. Anyway, so here I am in the living room in my stitching spot, and the boys are in here with me. So I thought I would try to do a super quick video and then see if I can do some stitching. I have lots of things I need to tell you that I keep forgetting to tell you. And then the next time I record, I forget if I've told you or not told you. So then I err on the side of caution and don't tell you. So I'm going to tell you a whole bunch of things and we'll see what that does. Of course, my arm's getting tired holding that up. So I'm having a hard time settling on a project. And, you know, I feel like it's Stitch Mania withdrawals. Like now that I don't have a plan, I'm having a hard time kind of getting back into the groove of a rotation. So I started Salem Remembered on the 10th for the Sal. And then I just had to do so much ripping out and color changes and futzing with it that I'm a little hesitant to get it back out, but then part of it is calling me to get it back out. And I was really kind of struggling with the whole Salem anniversary thing. So the night before, the night before it started, I was having a really, really hard time because I'm just going to come out and say it. So I was having a really hard time because I felt like there were a lot of people that were participating in the SAL, but were maybe missing the point. And I know that sounds super judgmental and whatever. And I don't mean it to sound that way, but I was feeling like, you know, there is a time and a place for dark 13 stitching, dark October stitching, Halloween stitching, whatever kind of, you know, stuff like that that you want to stitch. There's plenty of opportunity to do that. And I think maybe really what it boiled down to is that it's something that's really important to me. And because it's really important to me, I think I was really sensitive about it. I'll put it that way. I'm not going to say oversensitive because that almost sounds derogatory to what I was feeling, but hypersensitive to it because it is something that's important to me. And I was feeling bad that I was getting so upset by what other people were doing. And I did actually record a video about it, and then I deleted it. But now I feel like I'm ready to talk about it. So first of all, let me back up just a second. So I feel things very deeply. And because of that, sometimes I have a hard time fully expressing myself when I'm trying to talk about something that's very important to me. So, that being said, I'm attempting to try to talk about this, but I'm trying to choose my words not carefully because of what somebody may think, but carefully because I want to try to accurately say what I'm meaning. So, yeah, it was really upsetting to me that I felt like there were a lot of people that were, in my eyes, kind of missing the point. Because it was really supposed to be, you know, the spirit of the thing was to be focused on honoring the Salem witch trials, honoring that anniversary, and, you know, the hashtag that we're using is Salem Not Forgotten, which, I mean, that sums it up right there, right? So I was having a hard time with it. And then I saw Kelly Evergreen Needles post where she so eloquently said what I was feeling, which was basically to say, you know, this at its heart is about the people that were unjustly accused and hanged or pressed to death or died in jail, and you know, these are real people that we're talking about. It's not some fantastical, you know, made up tale that we tell. You know, this is a real thing, and these were real people, and they had real families and real descendants. And so I'm paraphrasing what she said, of course, but you know, the only thing that I could even comment on her post, I just said, thank you. Just thank you, because she summed up so clearly what I was thinking and feeling and upset by. So, that I just appreciate it. So the next day, and then the second day that I worked on that piece, I just kind of let it go. Because I knew what was in my heart and what was important to me and why I was doing what I was doing. And it was important to me to get, you know, Bridget Bishop's name stitched on the day, the anniversary of when she was hanged. You know, the next day that I worked on it, I was able to get Sarah Good's name on there, even though the anniversary of her death is not actually until July. But I felt like it was important to me to get at least the first two names on there. So you know, I certainly don't want anybody to feel like I am calling them out or you know, telling them what they can or cannot stitch. I'm absolutely not. I'm just trying to explain how I'm feeling. But you know, something about having it acknowledged by someone else, I guess, just allowed me to kind of step back from it and let it go a little bit and realize that, you know, everybody's just doing what they're doing, and it's perfectly okay if they want to stitch, you know, something that is not Salem specific. That is their prerogative, and, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. So that was a whole lot to work through for a stitch along. But yeah, I have my Tut here in my lap, so I'm petting him while I talk to you. So after that, I picked up my Dutch Beauty and started that with Miss Emily on the 12th, on my dad's birthday, which was important to me. And since then, I thought about going back to Salem Remembered, and like I said, it's calling me to come back to it, but then I'm also a little, I don't know, I'm a little afraid I'm just gonna screw it up because I'm fighting with my colors so much, and I don't want to get so frustrated with it that I put it down and don't come back to it. So I'm just gonna let that sit a little bit, and maybe I'll come back to it this weekend. So what I have been working on, in the little bit of stitching that I've done, I have been working on my cheesecloth. Literally. Oh my god, I just snorted. I've been working on that Merry Wind Farm hornbook piece that I started on the Weeks tin roof with the elephant and castle silk. So I've been working on that a little bit. It would be much prettier if you could see the color of the thread, but instead you get this. So I've been working on that a little bit because I thought, oh well, maybe I can kind of knock that out and get it done and then go back to something else. But it's proving to take, it's going to take a lot longer than I thought it was going to take because I just have not been quick lately. So anyway, it was a long day today. I left the house super early to get to the office for a face-to-face with one of our new executives. So like my boss's boss. And basically spent all day in a conference room with her. And it was really good and really productive. But I am whooped. So tired between that and the no AC. I'm so tired. So I am going to try to stitch a little bit, but I wanted to record and just tell you some of the stuff that's in my head. I know I still need to do my "You're Awesome" tag, and I haven't forgotten it. And it's still sort of percolating, but I felt like I needed to tell you about the Salem Remembered thing because, well, just because. So, I haven't forgotten about that tag. I did watch Emily and Jim and their random things tag that they did, video that they did, which was a lot of fun. So I think I may do that tag too. So yeah, that's where I'm at. So my Himalayan salt lamp and my cat and I are going to sit here and maybe do some stitching and maybe have something cool to drink, and then I will talk to you guys later. Bye.